Hey, good afternoon, everybody. And for those that are in the West Coast, I suppose are just getting into the afternoon. But my name is Lisa Lashendro. I am one of the annuity sales directors here at Insurance Agency Marketing Services. I have the pleasure to introduce you to my good friend and expert over at North American, Austin Eller. He's fantastic, a very strategic partner of IMES, and we appreciate him taking the time to be with us today. I do see that we have quite a few names here that I recognize, and for those of you that are already working with IMES, welcome back to enjoy another one of our educational webinars. For those of you that this is your first webinar with us, or maybe you're not um, as aware with what IMES has to offer in our partnership when you contract with us, I'm going to go over a few slides here just to let you know what IMES is all about and the perks that you get with us here. And for those of you that are already contracted, this could be a good reminder. You might need to be checking and see what your marketing dollar balance is or something like that to get that revenue up to where you want it to be this year. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and get started. So when you first contract with IMES, we want to make sure that you are aware that we really appreciate you giving us a shot at being that partner with you. So the first 6 months in any production that you write in that first 6 months when you get contracted, whether it's 100,000 level and or $1 million level, you can see that you get more bang for your buck. The more bang for your buck, the more premium you write. And that does include life premium. It includes FIA, single premium life, all of that. So these are just examples. And I'm going to show you another slide that has our creative marketing team on it. And basically, we customize what makes sense for your business. So if an iPad or a mailing, just really isn't your cup of tea, then we're going to look and see what would make sense and what we could get into that $100,000 level and that budget for you. So don't think that these are the only options that you have at each of those levels. You're going to talk to your annuity or life sales director, and they're going to go over these benefits with you, and we're going to get you the most bang for your buck. Just know that this is available. And once you hit that 6 month mark, you're going to want to make sure you talk to us and let's figure out what we can do to ramp up your marketing. Next, I want to talk a little bit about our referred producer program. Now, I don't think that there is any better compliment in our industry than a referral. I hope you guys are asking for referrals when you're seeing your clients and prospects, but we enjoy them as well. What we're going to do, though, is we're going to show you how much we appreciate that referral. And we're going to give you a quarterly check on whatever business that they write. So you can see if it's life target, you're going to get 15 basis points. And fixed index annuity, you get 20 basis points of the premium, and so forth and so on based on these scales here. So I'll give you an example. I have one agent that referred a guy over to me. He ended up writing $8 million in premium in the first couple of months. It was a good day for me, good day for IMES, good day for his clients, but also a very good day for the guy that referred him over because he got a pretty sweet check for just doing nothing but an introduction. So write down some names if you think of somebody that might benefit working with us. I get a lot of referrals just letting them know that they have this opportunity and know that this doesn't shave anything off of their commission, whatever level commission they are in. This is coming directly from our pocket to you because without you, that business wouldn't be in our doors. So make sure that you're aware of that and always thinking about somebody that might also benefit from working with us and partnering with IMES. Now, the other thing I want to mention is that our back office support is superior to what you're going to see out there in the industry. Our or what I like to say is, I want you guys out there talking to people, establishing those relationships. Let us do all the legwork for you. Let us do the busy work for you. Whether that's figuring out what the best annuity product is, coming up with that casework, getting those illustrations done, hanging out on the phone for an hour with a carrier, except for North American, of course, um, to get policy status. Making sure that those policies and those applications are running smoothly. We do all of that stuff for you so that you can be out there and really spend your time on marketing, making sure that you're in contact with as many folks as you can to build that business. We also have our website, and if you don't have IMS Inc. saved to your favorites, there is a little star in the top right of your screen when you go into your browser. So you just type in www.imsinc.com. That'll pull up the website. Click on that little star, and then you'll have our website saved to your browser. And there you can get term quotes, you can get forms, you can access our sales library, you can access Annuity Rate Watch and find out what the best MIGA rate is, or who's got the highest S&P rate for a FIA, who's got the highest payout, when it comes to an income rider. All of those things are at your fingertips. So if you're up at 10 o'clock and our office is closed and you got to figure this out, you've got those resources right there. Also, on our website, you are going to have access to the Firelight system, and this is our EAP solutions for fixed index annuities or any annuities, really. And of course, we have North American on there. I'm going to have Austin kind of chime in here because there's a couple things I want you to talk about, Austin. I want you to talk about the pre-qual opportunity on Firelight. And then also from a carrier standpoint, because I can preach all day long about how this makes your apps in good order and keep them out of a NIGO state. But I think it's important for you to hear from the carrier standpoint of that as well. So, I'm not lying. and and just hearing how faster the process is, and that time is of the essence when we're working these deals with our clients. You have too much time lingering, they get a little disinterested in what you're selling. So Austin, would you mind chiming in and kind of talking about those things?
Absolutely. I appreciate it. And it's funny you mentioned this because I was actually just out and I listened to a speaker who was talking about just how the age of speed and quickness, is upon us already. People are so able, they're able to get things done so quickly through technology nowadays that most clients and consumers out there expect everything to be done pretty quick. And so Firelight is kind of a great key in or tee into that, right? Because with Firelight applications, it just makes things so much smoother, so much quicker, etc. First, it makes things smoother because it requires the financial advisor, the financial professional to fill out every single form. And then also on top of that, it requires them to fill out every single piece of information that we need as the carrier. So you won't be able to submit it to us. And we all know this, right? You won't be able to submit it to us until it gets to us. And the amount of NIGOs that we have on Firelight applications versus paper applications is about a fourth. So about a fourth of the issues that occur are actually on our Firelight applications versus paper applications. So essentially, you're 4 times likely to have an error on a paper application than you are on a Firelight. So that not only sets things back, right? Because then you're going to more than likely have to go get corrections, update a form, get a new form, potentially maybe take a new training, whatever it may be.
New signatures,
right? That's step one.
Going back to the client multiple times.
Absolutely. And that's what is the biggest pain for probably most financial professionals out there, right? Going to a client the second time after you've already made that sale. Because then that just makes the sale potentially even tougher because the client might start to worry. You guys know the drill, right? Now the next thing is kind of where I teed it off at the beginning in terms of speed, right? The guy that I was listening to, he was a speaker, he was just talking about there is now a claims company, or an insurance company, I should say. I'm sorry, where you essentially, what you do if something is stolen or if you're in a car accident, right? You basically just pull up the app. All you have to do is give a 20 to 30-second video of what occurred. In the example that he was giving on stage, it was an individual who insured his clothing. It was a rich individual, right? He had some $1,000 coat, which I'll be honest, I'm never going to have $1,000 coat. But in this instance, that person was in New York City. Someone stole that coat. He got on the app, he did the video, and then the person actually got his claim approved and paid out in 3 seconds. It was approved and paid out through that claims company in 3 seconds. And so
That's
people are just
crazy.
getting so used to being able to get things done so fast. And if you do a paper application, or if you do a Firelight application, it just gets automatically input into our system because it's typed out, right? It's easily legible. We don't have to have someone go through and read it all. It is just already in there. All the stuff is input, and it can actually, believe it or not, guys, based on the inputs that you have in there through the suitability forms, it can actually kind of get already greenlit through suitability, and no processor in suitability has to look at it. Now, those parameters are for that are pretty light. It has to be kind of a slam dunk case for it to not be looked at a processor, but that can go through so quick, meaning that the minute you submit it, it can literally be through suitability. Our fastest case on the Firelight application that was ever issued was 7 minutes. Person submitted an application. The parameters on that suitability form were such a slam dunk case that it was automatically greenlit through our suitability system. And then they also used the ACH form where it was directly wired from their account or from their bank account to us. So that just made things so much quicker. And then lastly, real quick, I know I'm rambling here, but suitability pre-check. We all have those cases where you're reaching out to the carrier, where you give us the financials, you give us the scenario, and you don't know whether or not the company or the whether or not we're going to accept it as a company. Well, we as the company here, we have what's called suitability pre-check through our Firelight application. You can go in there, basically put in all of the parameters of the case. You do not need any client signatures. And then what will happen is our team will review it, and within 24 to 48 hours, we will tell you if that is a case that we will take. And if it's a case that we'll take, we'll move all of that information that you plugged in into a Firelight application, and basically you don't have to do double work. All of that stuff you had already put in gets looped into a new application, and then you're able to move forward with it. So I am a big fan of the Firelight app. Most of my advisors that do deal with issues, unfortunately, are using paper applications. And I get it. There's times where you can't use a Firelight application, whether it's you're going to a rural area where you might not have internet access or something like that. But if you can, I would suggest using Firelight at all times.
What would you
All
say
right,
the
that's
percentage of folks that you have are submitting more e-apps these
we are.
days versus like maybe a year or so ago?
I would guess so. Right now, I know the numbers we're over 70%. It varies by month, but most months we're in about the 75 to 80% of apps coming in the door are Firelight applications.
I think
So
that says
obviously
something
it's
all the way right there.
yep,
You know, if you are nervous about it, that's what you have IMS for. We're happy to walk you through it, get you going, get you started, showing you the ropes. I have walked a 94-year-old through Firelight, so if I can do that with a 94-year-old, I have all the faith in myself that I can help any of you as well. So never hesitate to call, ask your director, your sales director, or anybody in new business. We're all trained to be able to help you with that. So thanks for your input on that, Austin. I think it's important.
absolutely.
Okay, so at the beginning of this, when we were talking about that new producer bonus, this is a creative marketing solutions, and we have a team of folks that are extremely talented. They could do anything from redesigning your logo, helping you with business cards, brochures, developing a website, improving your social media, or even just consulting and taking a look at what you already have done. I know there's a lot of folks that have, cousin Fred that does IT and websites, but his cousin Fred in our industry. And it makes a difference on having somebody in our industry that's creating that content on your website versus somebody that does it for just any Joe Schmo on the street, because you want to make sure that it's matching your branding. You want to make sure you're targeting the right audience. And that's what we do for you. So if you don't have enough marketing dollars, we have a price sheet. We don't care if you utilize our creative marketing solutions or you have your own. We are always happy to help you every step of the way. Take a look, maybe give you consulting options, or maybe just take a look and telling you, hey, maybe have higher pixels on this picture, maybe change the color, from green to red or whatever. These guys are talented enough to help you every step of the way. All right, IAMS Wealth Management. I love these guys. And I love, this is one of my favorite slides because I'm good friends with them. Um, they're really top-notch folks. And I'm going to launch a poll here while I explain this to you. So years ago, Charles and Steve were kind of thinking, man, we have the best solutions for annuities, best solutions for life insurance. What are we missing? Oh, wealth management. So we started the sister company, which Charles Jr. runs, and we have the exact same resources. You get the exact same talent as far as folks that know what they're doing. You're going to get that A to Z service. Um, Again, the motto there is for you to go and bring that business in, let us do all the paperwork and back office stuff for you. And there is a lot of compliance when it comes to being registered. I was registered years ago and I don't miss any of that. But what's cool is that IAMS Wealth Management, they're going to take care of all that stuff for you. So you literally, all you have to do is bring the client and the situation to IAMS Wealth Management, and they will take care of the rest. They believe they also include the website for you. That's part of being part of their team. They take care of all the compliance and all that. So that's if you're registered and you're interested in being part of IAMS Wealth Management and having them take care of your business for you. Now let's say you are not registered and right now you have to bring some other guy in because the client needs a registered product and maybe not a fixed product. Well, that person that you bring in, they're usually going to want to cut on any fixed or life products that you also discuss with a client, and that's commission that's just falling out of your pocket because you brought him in for something that he may or may not sell on the registered side. Well, what IAMS Wealth Management does is they provide you with the assistance and help your client so you can keep your client in your own backyard and control that. And if you ever decide to get registered, we are going to transfer that client back to you. I can't even think about anybody else that'll do that. So I think that tells the story of IAMS Wealth Management and the good folks that they are, and that they're just trying to help you and enhance your business by helping you with all the back office stuff. And then, I've got some agents that are bringing enough AUM to IAMS Wealth Management. Once they start having a sizable book, then they'll go get registered, and then IAMS Wealth Management transfers all those clients back to them, and they're off to the races. So if you want my boy Duncan Smith or Zach Rieg or Charles Sr. to give you a call and kind of go over any questions that you have with their programs, make sure you're checking yes, and they will be in touch with you within the next day or two. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and close. Looks like we've got a nice number of folks that have voted there. Appreciate that. And I'm going to keep going so we can get to Austin's good stuff. We also have our Life and Annuity Academies. Be looking for these invitations to start coming out to you here in the next month or so. We're still trying to wrap up all the details. They are limited seats, so usually those folks that are already contracted with us and writing business will have the first picks. So you want to make sure that you're getting on top of that. But you're going to be rubbing elbows with other successful advisors. You're going to be hearing from some of the best in in the country as far as top producers go. We're going to bring in special speakers. We're going to talk about advanced concepts. So, the idea of our Life and Annuity Academy is for you to walk away with your mind blown on all these different ways that you can grow your business. Obviously, we're a marketing organization, so we have social media pages too. We've got our Facebook, our LinkedIn. Here's our links for that. And that's all I've got. I'm going to send an invite to Mr. Eller and let him get on with the show.
All righty. I am going to share my screen here. And I take it you are able to see it right now,
You
Lisa. Is
got
that
it.
right?
That's right.
Awesome. Well, fantastic job as always, Lisa. Guys, I've worked with Lisa and Imes for, gosh, what has it been? A year and a half. I about said an hour and a half. I'm sorry. A year and a half or 2 years now. And
Feels like
they're a great
5,
partner.
but that's okay.
I know. I've gotten to know them so well. They're great friends, great people over there. I always love going to see them in person. So can't say enough good things about them, and appreciate Lisa having me on here today, and for you guys taking the time out of the day too to hear about some cool things that North American has going on. Obviously, it's February, tax season, right? You know, taxes are going to be due in March. So for a lot of people, it is tax season right now. So I'm going to be talking about, and I already went to slide 2. I didn't mean to jump there right away. I'm going to be talking about a really cool new thing that North American has available, and that is partial Roth conversions. As of recently, we had only been able to do full Roth conversions, meaning if you had $100,000 in an IRA account here at North American, and if you wanted to convert it to a Roth IRA, you would have to do the full amount or the full $100,000. Well, now we have the capability. We got our systems put in place. It was costly, but we felt the need to do that. And we saw definitely the need by financial professionals who wanted this out in the field. So we are able to do partial Roth conversions, meaning that a client or, an agent can work with their client to convert only a portion of their IRA each year, which helps with taxes, right? You're not converting a large amount. You can convert whatever dollar amount that you'd like to, as long as it's $5,000 for the minimum. So here you'll see a few of just the small or a few of the parameters that we have that are, the more important ones, I guess you would say. This is available on all contracts issued February 1st, 2024 or later. And when I say all contracts, I mean all contracts, all products. So if it was issued on February 1st, 2024 or later, you have the capability to do partial Roth conversions. So this allows you the availability to convert only a partial amount of the contract to a Roth IRA from a traditional IRA. And as I mentioned, right, the big thing is that the minimum amount is $5,000. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to walk through this and how this is going to work. So
And
let's assume that,
real
yeah,
quick, there's
go ahead.
there's just a handful of companies that do this, you guys. I will tell you, a lot of them make this a lot more complicated, and your minimum of conversion is 20,000. So you're gonna get a 10 your client's gonna get a 1099 at the end of the year for whatever you convert. Having a low amount of 5,000 is extremely what's the word I'm looking for, Austin? An acceptable
Uh,
amount, because a lot of
yep.
folks don't want to pay tax. If you pay taxes on 20 grand, then that could bump you up to a higher tax rate, right? So
Right.
North American allowing a simple minimum of 5,000 is fantastic.
And I appreciate you bringing that up. As she had mentioned, we are only one of a few companies to be able to do this right now. I'm sure as time goes on, more and more will take it on. But what I can tell you is it did take us a while because it was costly to put the systems in place. And that is probably why a lot of companies still aren't doing it or potentially won't ever do it, because it is a big upfront
Mhm.
cost. We didn't have the systems in place, and the systems and time it took to set up something to do this took a lot of time, but we saw the investment and we knew it would be a key investment to be able to do moving forward. And what you'll find too is every company does it slightly different. There might be different parameters that they have or different ways of doing it. obviously with us being able to see a couple companies do it, we saw what worked and what the field liked about certain companies and what they didn't like about others. Obviously there's pros and cons to every scenario that you do, but we were able to kind of take that and, decide that, hey, here's the pros with all of the companies that people like. Let's make sure we have all of those on our way of doing it. So I'll show you how it works here. Let's just say a client puts $200,000 with us, right? I'm going to use easy math, easy dollar amounts. $200,000 with us. That's just set up as an IRA. Let's just call it a 401k rollover that was rolled into an IRA here with us at North American. And they start with $200,000. But their goal over time is to convert that $200,000 to a Roth IRA. But what they don't want to do, as we all know, they don't want to convert $200,000 at once, because if you're converting $200,000, more than likely you're being bumped up to a next tax bracket, and a good portion of that money is going to be taxed at a higher bracket than what you traditionally are used to. So what this person decides to do is they are just going to convert 20% year in and year out for the next 5 years. So when I say 20%, 100 divided by 20 is 5, right? So they're going to, over the next 5 years, slowly convert this amount to a Roth IRA. So initially, day one, you'll see they have a $200,000 IRA at North American. There's zero on the right side with a Roth IRA. But let's say they go ahead and convert 20% of the original contract value to a Roth IRA. What will happen is exactly what you're seeing on this screen. The $160,000, and to use easy math here, guys, I'm going to pretend there's zero growth. I don't want to factor in growth, because then all of a sudden you're going to be, just the math will get funky and it'll be harder for us to visualize it. But you'll see 40,000 or 20% of the original account value is taken to the Roth IRA. So now all of a sudden the IRA is worth $160,000. And your Roth IRA, which actually does start a new contract, believe it or not, but that contract has the exact same parameters as the first one. It comes out of surrender at the same point in time. You have the same free withdrawal percentages, so on and so forth, right? It just has to be a new contract because it is a different tax status for money. So all of a sudden you have an IRA, you have contract now ABC over here on the right that has $40,000 in it. So that's after year one. After year two, they want to do another 20%, right? So what's going to happen? The same exact thing, right? So now all of a sudden, 20 or 40,000 is deducted again from that IRA on the left-hand side, but it is put into that same Roth IRA that was started. We don't start a third contract, right? When you start that second contract, as you convert year in and year out, it will only be moved to that second contract. So you'll have two contracts, but that Roth IRA will always stay as one, and then the traditional IRA will always stay as one. But you're going to see here, a new contract, though, with the same exact parameters. So now all of a sudden, $80,000 of it is Roth, $120,000 of it is in traditional IRA. And the key thing is that the one on the right still has the same parameters as the one on the left when it comes to surrender charge schedule, so on and so forth. If you convert money in year 5, that doesn't all of a sudden start a new 10-year contract if you started out with a 10-year contract. If you start out with a 10-year contract and you convert money in year 5, that money is only going to have 5 years left on it. So just an important note, it does not start a new surrender charge period or anything like that, guys. But yeah, I only did like the first 2 years of this example. If we kept going, essentially what would happen is next year you'd have 120,000 in the Roth IRA and 80,000 in the IRA. And you would just keep working it down until the IRA was worth zero. And then your Roth IRA basically was worth that full 200,000 that you had originally put in. And now all of the money that you take out from that contract, tax free. And you've paid taxes, through 5-year period instead of instead of doing it all in 1 year.
So, Austin,
Lisa, anything else? Yeah, absolutely.
yeah, just
Absolutely.
to kind of cover a couple questions here from my agents or producers. So let's say you have this allocated, 25, 25, 25 in 4 different allocations, 2-year and
Mm-hmm.
1-year allocations. So obviously you're
Mm-hmm.
going to be in the same allocations on the Roth as you are in the traditional IRA. But can you
Yep.
talk a little bit about that and how that actually is going to work?
Yeah, absolutely.
The
So,
growth
yep,
aspect of it. So if you have 80, I mean, yeah,
yeah. So what I'll do is I'll pretend like it's split 50-50 for indexes instead of like 25, just because that'll be a little easier to talk on. And then once that's kind of understood, it's easy to understand essentially any split. So let's say it's split 50-50 in a 1 year point to point and a 2 year point to point. And within the first contract year, you convert, let's just say in this instance, let's go back to here. Let's go back to this. If the original amount was 200,000, right? And you had half of it in a 1 year point to point and the other half of it in a 2 year point to point, that means 100,000 is going to be in the 1 year and 100,000 is going to be in the 2 year. Well, after this first contract year, where we would then convert 20% of it to the Roth IRA, what that would mean in this instance is essentially 50% of that money, or 20,000, would be still in that 1 year point to point, and then the other 50,000 would be, or I'm sorry, the other 20,000, 50% would be in a 2 year point to point. Now we don't reset the clock though. That's the other important thing. We don't reset the clock on when that index started. It still goes back to day one of the contract. So we're still going to track it from day one. We're not resetting the clock at the day that you decide to convert that. So all it would do is it would exactly pro rata move that money over to the new contract as it was prior. Does
yep.
that make sense, or do I need to elaborate on that a little bit more?
Nope.
I know
And
it's
we have a question in the question box. How are the
okay.
taxes treated in each conversion year? So basically, you're just going to get a 1099 for whatever
Yep.
you converted, and
Yep.
expect for Uncle Sam to get that report.
Exactly. So what you're seeing on the screen here is $40,000 was converted in this particular year. So the client's going to get a 1099 for 40,000. But that's using this strategy is a lot better than getting a 1099 for 200,000, unless they can afford it, of course. I mean, or if
Right.
that's what they want. But yes, correct. 1099 at the end of the year for the amount converted.
Now, another question that comes up quite often is what is are there minimum requirements? For an example, you're only allowed to put 7,000 into a Roth or contribute so much into a Roth. How does this differ from that?
Yeah, so that won't necessarily differ, or that won't have an effect on the amount, to be quite honest, because well, I'll touch on 2 points for that. We will have some contracts, right, where it does allow for flexible premium. So that does give the client the availability to add money to these each and every year. So, for example, if in this instance, if they've converted the $40,000 to a Roth IRA, and if it was a flexible premium product, they could continue to add money to that each and every year if they wanted to, but they would only be able to add up until the client's maximum allowable amount for contributions. They could still do the same on the left for the IRA too. If they wanted to contribute funds to the IRA rather than the Roth IRA, they absolutely could. But on the back end, when you're actually doing the conversion, it doesn't necessarily have any effect on that, because the only requirement we have dollar wise, in terms of minimums or maximums, is just the minimum to convert. You can only convert, the minimum you can convert is $5,000. So
And I think
hopefully I
that's
kind of,
huge. I mean, that's really a big part of the benefit of being able to do a partial Roth conversion.
mm-hmm,
Because if anyone that's like looking to, start up a Roth, you have those restrictions of 7,500 or 7,000, whatever it is, max amount that you can put into that Roth every year. Here, you can convert 20,000, 40,000, a full amount, and pay Uncle Sam early before those taxes go up. And then when you're ready for distributions, you have 100% tax free distributions. And I think
absolutely.
that's where this concept really comes into play. And those folks that are your clients or prospects that understand the value and are nervous about taxes, this is a concept you're going to want to make sure that you have down in your back pocket and can explain it easily. And I know that North American's going to be working on some client brochures and things like that, but there he's going to get this out to us, and I'm going to follow up with everybody with some handouts. Um,
Yep.
But we've got some, I mean, we could probably put some examples or whatever together for you to show to your client, but really, you know, the concept itself in taxes and retirement is what you're selling here.
Yep. And I just pulled this up here, guys, because I wanted to show this. I'm going to be sending it over to Lisa right after this. Um, this is our FAQ on it, which basically does a really good job of answering any questions that typically come up when it comes to partial Roth conversions, right? Talks a little bit about what is a partial Roth conversion, what are the benefits, how does my client do it, right? How long after the contract is issued can my client do it? So I mean, just answers a bunch of different questions. There's the minimum that you'll see, right? So I just wanted to pull this up quickly. I'm not going to go question by question, but this is a really good piece that does a tremendous job talking about obviously how it works and how our Roth IRA partial Roth conversions works. So that's all that I had on Roth conversions. Any other things that you want me to answer or anything like that?
No, I think you've pretty much covered, the major, you've simplified it to where it's easy to understand. If anybody out there has any questions or want to go over some examples, we can certainly do that on an individual basis. But I think Austin also we've got some time left, and I think he wants to talk a little bit about the Charter Plus series. What you want to reiterate what products at North American has this option?
Absolutely. So the partial Roth conversions, we are able to do that on every single contract or every single product, guys. So that's the good news, is you won't be limited in terms of products that you can do it on. The only limitation is that it had to be issued on February 1st, 2024 or after. But other than that, you can use other products or whatever product you'd like, I guess you could say, to do that. And the Charter Plus is a good one because I'll actually kind of talk on it. I know Lisa had mentioned that we have pieces we're potentially working on. I kind of have, a reason as to why this could be considered a great option for partial Roth conversions. We don't necessarily have a piece on it, but what I'll do is I'll go through the Charter Plus and then I'll talk on it in relation to partial Roth conversions. All right, so the Charter Plus, it's our bonus product, guys. But first, the nuts and bolts are pretty simple. It's a 10-year contract that can be issued through ages 79 on a 10-year, and then the 14-year for those states that it is available in can be issued through ages 75. It is a flexible premium, which is unique, and I'll hit on why that's unique when it comes to that in a few slides. With a $20,000 minimum, the $20,000 minimum is the initial upfront start. When it comes to flexible premium, there's no necessary minimum, right? I think we state that the minimum is actually like $50. But I'm pretty sure if you accidentally, if you sent us less than that, which I don't know that we've ever gotten it, there's no minimum on the flexible premium. The $20,000 minimum is just for the upfront. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to break this down into three things. What's the bonus? What's the performance? And what's the liquidity of this contract? Now, when it comes to bonus, I'm just going to focus on the 10-year. Right now, that's about 85 to 90% of our sales between the 10 and the 14-year. And I don't want to jump back and forth too much and confuse you guys on all of these. So what I'm going to do, so for the 10-year version, you'll see here on our low band, I'm going to try to highlight it here off to the left, top left. Our bonus is 7%. On the high band, it is 10%. So a high band is anything $75,000 and over, you can get a 10% bonus. Just know, guys, and I'm going to hit on this in a little bit, you can actually get a bonus higher than that. The bonus can be up to 19%. Now, I'm going to talk on that a little bit more in depth here down at the bottom of this slide. When it comes to performance, we're going to have indexing strategies across a bunch of financial brands, right? Morgan Stanley, Fidelity, Goldman Sachs, S&P. So a bunch of names that clients know, right? 18 of them are going to be uncapped, and you'll see those here in a few slides. Lastly, when it comes to liquidity, we have 10% free withdrawals starting in year 2 with a 100% nursing home confinement waiver in year 2 as well. Now, where this product gets interesting, and I hate how we have this slide divvied up, right here at the bottom, you'll see we have an optional enhanced bonus rider. Optional enhanced bonus rider. You can add that for 95 basis points. I'm going to circle the 95 basis points annual charge. you can add it. But what that does is that gives you a 9% extra premium bonus on the 10-year. And if we're looking at the 12 or the 14-year, you can get up to a 12% more premium bonus. So what that means, let's just look at the 10-year high band, guys. The 10-year high band base bonus without any fee is 10%. If I add this rider, I get an additional 9%, meaning my bonus up front would be 19% day one. You're going to have a 19% bonus day one if you add that optional enhanced bonus rider. Very strong bonus, as you guys can tell. I'll be honest, guys, people are using it to offset surrenders on contracts written 3, 4, 5 years ago with very poor rates. Obviously, we all know contracts written 3, 4, 5 years ago probably have lower rates than what we do today. So we're seeing a lot of replacement business into this.
Mm-hmm.
What this will show you, and I'll hit on that a little bit more here at the end, what this will show you is each and every one of the options of 10-year low band and high band, and then the 14-year low band and high band, and what that bonus would be up to if you add that EBR rider. So you're going to see on the far right-hand side of the page, the low band highest bonus you would get is a 16% bonus if you add the EBR. The high band would be 19%. And if we look at the 14-year at the bottom, you can get up to a 25% bonus on the 14-year, guys. So just know that we're going to give you a contract with an extremely high premium bonus. And then we're also going to give you solid rates that you'll see here in a couple slides as well. So you'll get continued good growth after that. Now I mentioned,
Austin, real quick, is this going to be something available? I know you have all 50 states except for New York. Will these bonus options be available in all 49 states as well? Or are they going to be depending on the state?
I am glad that you mentioned that. I totally forgot. So it is not available right now in California, guys. I actually just got an update yesterday that says we will hopefully have it approved in California by end of the month or within a month's time frame. So right now, the 10-year, actually, you do not have the option to get the enhanced premium bonus for California. You can get the base bonus of 10%, but right now California does not allow you to add that additional 9%, which stinks. I know, guys, but just trust me, we're working on it. We all know here, sometimes the state of California takes a little bit longer to approve these things than a lot of other states. So we are working on it and hope to have it soon. But every other state besides New York, all the other 48, you're able to add the additional EBR or the enhanced bonus rider. And then a lot of those light states or model law states, just know, guys, you probably won't have the 14-year available. So.
Yep. Thank you.
All righty. I talked a little bit about suitability, guys. Just as an FYI, as I had mentioned, we will take up to a 5% net loss after any surrenders, MVAs, or bonuses are applied to the contract or the replacement. So just know, like I had mentioned, you can use this as a replacement tool to replace potentially some of those contracts written a few years ago that have poor rates, or maybe a contract written years ago where the renewal rates have absolutely tanked and the client wants to get out because a 9% cap is now down to a 2% cap, right? The only thing I will say, we will take up to a 5% net loss. You still have to make good reason as to why it's a better fit for the client. I'll be honest, we've seen a good amount of people just replacing business with similar rates than what the previous contract had. And our suitability team, guys, if you're going from a contract that has a 100% participation rate and you're moving to a contract that has a 100% participation rate on a volatility controlled index, when suitability looks at that as an apples to apples comparison, the client's not in a better place, because what you're doing is you're moving them from a contract where they would have been out maybe in 8 years to now a contract that added an extra 2 years potentially of surrender charges. So I just say that to make, because I want to make it clear, you still have to make sure that the rates on our contract are better than the contract they're on, or whatever the reason is. They want to get away from an income rider they're paying a fee on, so on and so forth.
I would say with those guys, here's what you're going to want to look for. What I've been seeing in our office is a lot of VA contracts that are being replaced because they don't want to be in the market. You're paying the fund manager a fee. There's a fee somewhere in there, and they no longer need that income. And even if you did switch it to another income product, most likely we're going to be able to beat that income that they were making, plus
Yep.
not have a fee. So I'm running into that day in and day out. If you're not asking your clients and prospects what they currently have in annuities and taking a look at those statements, you're losing out on opportunity. I'm telling you.
And absolutely. I mean, and another thing that I've kind of said is, guys, just know, I mean, your books are under attack by other financial professionals right now. This is one thing I've said. You know, if you're not looking to replace it and put them in a better client position or essentially upgrade their products, other people out there will. So it's always a good time, especially now where rates are, because we've all heard that we think, rates will probably slowly decrease over the year. In a year, we might be back to where we were 2, 3 years ago. I don't know. I don't know that we'll ever get that low within the next year or two, but I think rates will slowly decrease and we won't see those all-time highs that we saw, 3, 4, 5 months ago. Rates are still at a great spot. Take advantage of it while you can and try to upgrade those clients when you can. So,
Mhm.
because things could look drastically different in 6 to 12 months. So, I mentioned this product was flexible premium, and we do give the client the bonus for the first 3 contract years. So not only can you add money to it, you are guaranteed to get the bonus for the first 3 contract years. So here you're going to see a client starting with $100,000. So off on the far right, you'll see in year one, $19,000 is their bonus amount in year one. But then through the first 3 contract years, they're going to add $5,000 and still get that 19% bonus added to that $5,000. Now, what you'll notice here in year four, the client adds $5,000, but because that's after the 3rd contract year, there's no bonus applied. So you can still add money after the 3rd contract year. Just know that you won't be getting the bonus. So it's a very, very unique product. Not many carriers, or I don't know if any other carriers, I'm sorry, offer a bonus where they allow for flexible premium and allow you to get that bonus applied to that flexible premium as well. Just an awesome, awesome feature of the product, both allowing flexible premium and 2, guaranteeing it for the first 3 years as well. I'm going to skip these next few pages. Basically, this is the last thing that I want to show you guys. It's important to get the bonus up front, but it's also important to get solid indexes and options on the back end as well. So what you're looking at here, I'm going to scribble out a few things because I don't want to confuse you. So on this page here, I'm going to just try to scribble out these 3 columns on the far right. I know it's not pretty, but I just want to try to take everyone's attention away from a few columns. And then this column right here, I'm going to scribble out. Sorry, guys, I was not. I think I stopped taking art class my freshman year of high school, so it's been a while. But I'm going to try to explain what you're seeing here, guys. On the far left-hand side of the screen, you're seeing every single one of our different indexing options. Remember, a few slides ago, I mentioned we have 18 uncapped, 20 total available. You're seeing every single one of those indexing options that we have, whether it's a 1-year point-to-point, 2-year point-to-point, etc. And then in this column that I'm highlighting here, or circling or underlining, you're going to see all of the different rates that we have for each and every one of these indexing options. So I'm only, underlining a few. I just want you guys to be able to look at where I'm kind of looking at. So this column right here shows you all of the rates on each and every one of these indexes. And obviously they're going to vary by index because some indexes are built different where we can, afford a higher participation rates than the other one next to it, so on and so forth. But then the other important column that we have is these 3 columns right here. So I'm going to circle it where it says NA Charter Plus 10, and then underline the last 10 years, the highest 10 years, and then the lowest 10 years. What this does is this shows you the illustrated rate for the most recent 10 years on each index, the highest ever 10 years, and then the lowest ever 10 years. So you don't have to run an illustration to see what all of these are running at or showing on an illustrated basis. Just the thing that I'm going to point out, I'm going to focus on the last 10-year index options. We have indexing options illustrating that 10.86, 9.9, all the way down here at 10.83 net of fee because that's a fee option. So you're going to see we still have indexing options that are going to illustrate very strong even after you get a very strong bonus as well. So you get the great bonus up front, and then on the back end, we're going to give you great indexing options. You can pick and choose between these, you can do that 25, 25, 25, 25 split between whatever indexing options that you like. I always preach diversification because I've seen too many times where agents or clients, love one index because it did so good last year. And so they put all their eggs in one basket. They're like, you know what? That index crushed it last year. Let's flip all of our money to that. And then next year, all of a sudden, the index that they got out of did 5 or 6 or 7% better than the index they moved into. Right? We're in a 10-year time frame, guys. We all know, right? Don't use recency bias to make drastic changes. Is I guess what I would say. We're all going to go through time periods where one index does better over a 2-year period than the other, and then 3 or 4 or 5 years later, it could be the exact opposite. So that is all that I had on the Charter Plus partial Roth conversions. I don't know if there's any questions or anything that you want me to talk on, Lisa, that I didn't. But if so, feel free to bring those up right now.
Awesome. Well, it looks like we answered all of the questions in the question box. Oh, I think one's coming in here. Um, let's say we've got one. Hi, did I hear that there is a product with no minimum deposit? I don't think so.
Well, yeah, and I shouldn't have. It's probably because I brought it up when I was talking about our flexible premium. The initial deposits on all of our contracts are going to be at least $20,000, guys.
Mhm.
The initial deposit. When it comes to flexible premium for those products that do allow flexible premium, there won't be a minimum on the flexible premium. But to issue a contract, you're going to need at least $20,000. So,
Yep, that's probably what I was thinking.
yep.
Um, well, we're going to wrap this up a little early, get you guys back to talking to those clients and prospects. I do want to launch this last poll. If you're not already contracted with North America, we need to get that done. So check yes to this poll question, and we'll make sure that we get that done for you. If you're looking for an illustration or you have somebody in mind that you've written their name down throughout this presentation from Austin, and we need to address those questions or look at that case together, click yes here and we'll make sure that we put you on the top of the list. Other than that, I will be sending everybody a copy of the webinar as well as some of the handouts that we discussed so that you have all the goodies in front of you. And then I'll follow up with y'all probably the next day or two. So if you have any other questions, let me know, or between now and then, give me a call. Always here to help any way we can. Happy to get Austin on the phone if I can't answer your questions or you want to take a deeper dive. He's been an extremely awesome partner in doing that and being available for our agents as well. So Austin, we always appreciate you on that end as well.
Thank you. You guys are great. Like I said, guys, I can't say enough about Lisa and Imes. They're great partners to work with. I love visiting them. And if you guys, I'm always happy to hop on calls, whatever it may be. But I truly just appreciate you guys giving me the time here to get on today and share some North American stuff. Thanks, guys.
Thank you all. Have a good rest of the week, and we'll talk to you again soon. Take care now.
We'll see ya. Thanks, Lisa.
See ya. Bye.